All right, what's going on YouTube? What's going on TikTok? What's going on Facebook? What's going on Twitter? We are back with a Ask Me Anything on YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff, right? So I am super glad you're here. I'm excited and honored to be with each and every one of you here today. In a moment, we'll be going over some questions, some answers, some career stuff, some hot topics, whatever you want to go over. But first, let me know where you're tuning in from and where you are on your pre-PT journey. Let me know. I'm super excited to get to know you guys a little bit better during this live stream so I can help you best. What we got coming up is our Money in Class training on April 7th. Money in Class training on April 7th. So, for those of you who are interested in the money stuff, is school worth it? The PT to school debt ratio, all this stuff, the money part of making physical therapy worth it for you, then go to moneyinclasstraining.com. And let me fix this header here on YouTube. It's April 7th. Or no. What's that Sunday, guys? Is it April? I don't think that's April 7th. Yeah, it is. April 7th. April 7th is that Sunday. There we go. Boom. Perfect. So April 7th is that Sunday, and we'll be having a Money in Class training. All about the money stuff. So if that's what you guys are interested in, we know a big subset of you guys are and have a ton of questions about money, depending on the stream. So Money in Class training, sign up there, and we'll be talking more about it on Sunday, April 7th, which is very soon from now. Let's see, any other announcements? We just had our acceptance PT class today. We'll be sending out an email for the replay for those of you who attended. And we basically talked about how to stand out and how to get into physical therapy school. So emails will be going out today about that. And yeah, I haven't been on live in a while. So finally got some downtime. And I just wanted to make sure you guys were taken care of. So drop your questions, drop your comments. Instagram, do the same thing. What's going on Instagram? I see you guys here too. There we go. Cool. I see you guys here Instagram. I see you guys here TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, if you guys are on. Shout out to you guys too. And let's get into it. Let's have a good time. Do I have a filter on? I don't think I have a filter on. TikTok, does it look like I have a filter on? Maybe I'm tweaking. I don't think I have a filter on. Okay, got distracted. But yeah, let's get into it. And let's see what questions we got. We're going to start with TikTok. YouTube, I can put your questions on the screen when you guys have them. Instagram, I'm going to be checking on you guys. I see a question here. Let's start with Instagram today. Then we'll go to TikTok, then we'll go to YouTube. All right, so how long has Instagram is asking, how long should someone be a physical therapy tech before PT school? Oh, it doesn't matter. It could be 5 hours or it could be 50 years. It doesn't really matter. There's no time limit on when you have to be a PT tech to get into physical therapy school. It literally doesn't matter. You can apply to physical therapy school, start a PT tech job, be a PT tech for a day, get accepted, say you want to quit, and just wait to start PT school. It doesn't, the PT tech job has no real weight on you getting accepted or not. So you don't need to be worried about that. There's no length of time you need to be a PT tech. All right, TikTok. Let's see. Do you recommend being a PTA before a PT? No. If you want to be, that's great, but you do not need to. You do not need to. I hope I didn't miss any questions there. You definitely do not need to. So it's up to you. It's up to you. What pays more, home health or travel physical therapy is the question from TikTok. Now, that's going to depend on the contract, where you live, location, negotiation, bonus structure, pay structure, and all that stuff. It's kind of hard to say because they can be one and the same. So you can be a travel home health therapist technically. It's hard. It's really hard to say. I might give the slight edge to travel, but it's really just going to depend on location and pay structure. Somebody in Florida might be like, travel, But somebody in California might be like, no, home health, because I make this much in home health. Then they'll just be fighting and fighting about which one's better and which one pays more, when it just depends on many factors. It's not that easy. So I'd say apply to both if you're in that situation right now, and see which one gives you the better option for you. But they're kind of close, pretty similar. You're actually a PT tech studying for the TEAS exam. Okay, cool. Best of luck on the exam. Hope you do well. Hope you do well. YouTube's got a question. Let's go to YouTube real quick. What would you say sorry, Lord. What would you say gives someone the best chance of getting into PT school? High GRE score, cumulative GPA. Thank you. You're welcome, Jorge. So, I'd start with GPA, then GRE would be next. So in order, I would go GPA, then GRE, then everything else. If they do not require the GRE, then just take the GR out. So GPA, then everything else. Now the GPA can get a little dicey because there's more than one GPA, but I definitely say GPA first, because what they're looking for is how well you're going to do in school. That's what they're looking for, because you're going to school. You're not going to become a physical therapist yet. You're going to PT school. So they want to see how you've done in school to give them a good barometer on how you'll be in their PT school. That makes sense? Y'all with me? Y'all following? Hope that makes sense. But great question. Great question. Next question from TikTok right now. How badly will my GPA from previous colleges affect me? I went on academic probation before. It'll affect you. How bad it'll affect you is dependent on how well you have did since those bad grades. That's what you need to keep in mind. So if you had straight Fs, well, you're gonna have to get like straight A's for the school who you want to accept you to trust you. Because like we just said, Richard, from the last question, the school is going off of what you've done to see possibly how well you would do in physical therapy school. That makes sense so far? So if they see straight Fs in your past, why would they trust you to pass physical therapy school, to make it through physical therapy school, to stay above the threshold before they kick you out of physical therapy school? Right? Does that make sense so far? So it will affect you, but it'll affect you dependent on how well how well you have done in your classes after that academic probation. So I hope that helps. What pays more? Oh, what's going on, Brianna? Brian A is in the building. I put my deposit down for a spot in PT school. What's your next step? Make some money, sleep, travel, celebrate, have some fun. That's your next step. You put your deposit down, nothing. You don't have to do anything. Is that lighting better? I don't know how I like that. We'll see. Dupont is on YouTube. What's up, Dupont? That's an old picture. That's crazy. What's up, Dupont? There we go. Oh, shoot. There we go. Thank you for sharing the live stream. Gracie, appreciate you. Is physical therapy very hard? I'm so scared of it. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult. But so what? I'll tell you that physical therapy school is more difficult than being a physical therapist itself. In my perspective, people can disagree, go fight me about it. That's fine. But in my perspective, the schooling part is harder than actually doing the physical therapy. But so what? If you want to be a physical therapist, so what if it's hard? So what if it's difficult? You're going to be what? A physician? You're going to be what? A dentist? You're going to be what? A personal trainer, and think that's not going to be hard? Everything's going to be hard. So if you want to be a physical therapist, then go be it. Do you recommend? Oh, I got that one. Do you recommend being a PTA before a PT? No, I don't really recommend it. Just choose one or the other. But you don't have to be a PTA before being a PT. If you want to be a PTA, just be a PTA. If you want to be a physical therapist, go for physical therapy. Do I recommend a weekend program? For me, no. I do not recommend a weekend program. But for you, it might be okay. So it just depends on how you kind of like to do things and what your schedule is and what your priorities are. Instagram, we okay? Y'all got any questions? I think we're good on Instagram. Cool. I might like this lighting a little better. What we got next? YouTube. That's what I was doing. YouTube questions. I saw some comments. Okay, Dupont does have a question. What is the return on investment and how does it affect physical therapy? What is the return on investment? Dupont asked me the last part of the question again while I answer the first part. We got 11 people on YouTube. What is going on? And 32 people on TikTok. What the heck? Y'all just missed me or something? What? Watch it drop after I said some cocky shit like that. But what's up? Glad you're here. It's been a while, you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. What's up? Okay, so depending on the first part of your question, what is the return on investment? Depends what school you go to. It's just like anything you buy. It's like, oh, what's the return on investment of buying a house or a car or getting married or buying a stock or a crypto, right? It's dependent on how low you buy it. So let's just say a house goes to $100,000. Well, if you bought a house at $95,000 and it goes to 100K, your return on investment is that $5,000. You gained $5,000. But if you bought a house at $10,000 and it goes up to $100,000, the difference is $90,000. So your return on investment is $90,000, depending on when and how much you pay for that house. That makes sense. So the same thing with physical therapy school. If you buy a physical therapy school that costs $30,000 and throughout the average, your average salary throughout the span of your career is $120,000, then you got a 4x return on your investment, right? 3 times 4. So it depends on how cheap a school you go to, or I should say how less expensive a school you go to is for you. Jorge is saying, so in other words, go to the cheapest school and live frugally. I knew I liked you, Jorge. That's what I've been saying for a long time. So if anybody is telling you, anybody listening on here, and you have a physical therapist or your parents or a teacher or somebody on social media fear mongering you and saying physical therapy school is not worth it, you should not go to physical therapy school, it costs this much and you're not going to get a return on investment and you shouldn't do it, and the PT profession is in flames, like, just take a step back. Don't let them scare you. They're doing it out of good faith. They're trying to help you. I understand what they're doing. Let me explain. But if they just go off and start shouting all this stupid stuff, just take a step back and be like, well, what are they talking about? What they're talking about is if you go to a school, if you buy a high price house, if you buy a high price physical therapy school at $180,000, and that's just the tuition, and you choose to make $60,000 for the rest of your life, that's what they're yelling about. Of course, don't do that. But that's with any investment. That's with any investment. That's just not PT school. If nursing school costs that much, if dentistry costs that much, if the return on investment for being a physician was like that, don't do it. It's just math. But every situation is not like that. You can go to a school that costs $40,000, make $120K on average for the rest of your career, and that's a 3x return on investment for being a physical therapist. Let's use our brains, people. Don't let them scare you. Let's think. All right, one more from YouTube, then we'll go back to TikTok here. Do you work while attending PT school, or were you? I worked. I always worked. Ever since I graduated high school, I've been working ever since. A little bit before then, too. So I worked in PT school. We started pre-PT grind in physical therapy school. I did a ton of jobs in physical therapy school. I do a ton of jobs now. So I always worked, but it was always around the priority of my physical therapy school priorities. So I always worked. Good question, though. For anybody else interested in all the money stuff that I was talking about, go to moneyinclasstraining.com. We're going to be talking all about this on April 7th at moneyinclasstraining.com. The link is also in the bio and stuff. Instagram, y'all okay? How do I get a job in the U.S.? DM me. That's a long answer. Doesn't a cheaper school mean cheaper quality? No, it doesn't. So a cheaper school does not mean cheaper quality because that's not how it works in physical therapy. In other schools and other professions, that might be how it works, but I get that question all the time. It just doesn't mean that because every school has to teach you the same stuff. It's not like a cheaper house is cheaper quality. This is not houses we're talking about. We're talking about education. They all have to give you the same education according to the accreditation body. So a $30,000 school is going to teach you the same thing, give or take a few things, as a $200,000 school because they have to. So just choose the less expensive school if you want, but it's your money. How badly will my previous GPA? Oh, I got that one. What's the best undergrad for PT? What major? Whatever the easiest major is at your school. So go to your advisor, go to your dean, go to whatever, ask your classmates and be like, what major has the easiest classes for me to get straight A's in? After that, you make sure you're taking the necessary prerequisite classes that are required for physical therapy school. Because why take neuroscience? Why take exercise science? Why take biology if it's a harder major than communications? You don't need to. Take the easier major so you can have an easier time taking the easier classes because you're going to have a hard time taking the prereqs anyway. So why give yourself more work? I have 4 outstanding classes, but I got accepted to PT school. Would they rescind if I do bad? They probably will. Read the fine print in your acceptance email. Talk to your pre-PT advisor, enrollment officer person from that school, but they could. They're probably within their rights to do that. So stay on top of it. I have all my required classes done for PT school next year as a sophomore. Should I continue? Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Gerson, you have all the required classes done for PT school next year as a sophomore. Should I continue as a kines major? Yeah, you have no reason to really switch. If I'm understanding your question right, you don't have a reason to switch. How long does travel OT school take? I don't think there's such thing as travel OT school. There is occupational therapy school. I believe it's 2 to 3 years. Don't quote me on that, though. Do PT schools care if you take a difficult science class like physics and chem online? You'll have to take, most likely 90% of the time, need to take physics and chemistry in person. So you'll need to take physics and chemistry in person. Don't risk it taking a physics and chemistry class online, especially the labs. Don't risk that. Because the last thing I want you to do is take that online, apply to physical therapy school, and they'd be like, no, we don't take online classes. And then you're effed because those are 2 huge classes. You don't want to take that risk. Is it worth it to change to ortho PA instead of PT because same schooling but different salary? I'm really struggling. Okay, so I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but if you're struggling between physician assistant and physical therapist, you need to get more information about both. So if you're like, oh, I don't really know because salary and all that stuff, understandable. I was the same way with pharmacy. I went after pharmacy because it earned more on paper. On Google said it earned more, but that's before I knew that physical therapists can earn money too. So you need more information about both. When I got more information about both, it was easier for me to make my decision for physical therapy. So I need 57 reasons for yes and no to PA. And I need 62 reasons yes and no to physical therapy. And once you have those reasons, it'll be easier to pick which one's best for you. And in those 57 and 62 reasons, I need a mathematical formula as to which one will get you the best return on investment, depending on what school you're going to go to, what job you're going to take, and all that stuff, where you're going to live. I need details because that'll help you make a better decision. I'm really scared for my therapy appointment on Wednesday. It's talking therapy. Oh, we'll just have a good time. Don't stress about it too much. What's the best major? I got that one. Getting strong letters of recommendation, you have to tell them, the person writing your letter or potentially writing your letter, why you are choosing them. So Drew, if you came to me And you were like, Casey, can you write me a letter? Because it's happened before. It doesn't happen that much anymore. Like random people from like you guys that I don't know who are not our clients would message me and be like, Casey, can you write me a letter? I've been following you forever and I really like your content, but I don't know you. And why are you choosing me? Why? There's millions of other physical therapists. Why me? Because you think it's easier because you see my content online? Like you need to explain to this person why out of all the people you're choosing them, to keep it simple. So I hope that helps. One part of many. Observation and shadowing gets boring and afraid that it'll affect my outlook on PT. Any suggestions of what I should try to get a good idea about the profession? I was the same way, Devon. Okay, gotcha. So I was the same way. So what I wish I knew was that observation hours are for you to make sure you're choosing the best career for you. Does that make sense? YouTube's got a bunch of questions. I got you. I got you, YouTube. I'm coming for you. 17 people on YouTube? What the heck? Where did y'all come from? I appreciate y'all, but man, this is crazy. I don't think I've ever had this many people on a YouTube live. Maybe a Sunday night. YouTube, what is going on? Tell me, tell me. How are we getting this many people on YouTube? But welcome, welcome, YouTube people. I'll get to your questions in just a second. But Devon was asking about how to make them observation hours less boring. I had the same problem. So here's what I wish I knew, that observation hours are for you to choose the best career for you. All right? It's for you to choose the best career for you. It's not to impress the PTs. It's not to get a letter of recommendation. It's to get your hours, of course, but the purpose of the observation hours is to make sure you are not going into physical therapy school and changing your mind because you didn't know what you were getting into. So if I was to do it again, I would go in there with direct questions to make sure that this was the best profession for me. Like all the questions you guys have here on this live stream, I would take all these and run them to the people you're shadowing and more. Being like, if they're comfortable with saying how much they make, where they went to school, how much their bills cost, what they wish they did differently, what they're thinking about every day, how this patient reacted, what their fears are, what they regret, what they love, what they would tell their younger self. Like drill them in a respectful manner, of course. But now when you have that mindset of saying, I need to make sure this is the best career for me, if I had that mindset, it would not have been as boring. Would it still be a little boring? Sure, depending on the day, but it would not have been as boring because you're trying to get something out of it. And then the conversation would just flow, ebb and flow. So that's what I would do if I was in your situation. You took chem online. Just ask the schools you're applying to. Just make sure it's okay. Just make sure it's okay. All right, YouTube. That's crazy. All right. Dr. Rodriguez, what school did you need? What grad school do you need to be an athletic trainer? Master's in athletic training, I believe. I'm not sure what specific school names those are, but I believe you need a master's in athletic training. How hard is it to open your own practice? It's not really hard. You just put the paperwork in for your LLCs and stuff, and you technically have your own practice. But I know what you're asking. How hard is it to have a successful practice that is making you money? It's hard. It's difficult, just like anything else in life. But the more you know about business and the, I guess, smarter and harder you work, the less difficult it is. Kind of. Take that with a grain of salt. Basically, what I'm trying to say is if you have no business experience, you will get crushed because this is a business that happens to be physical therapy, that happens to give physical therapy services. That makes sense. MB50, is that 50 cents? MB50? You are a business first. If you open your own practice, you are a business that gives physical therapy services. So if you don't understand business, it will be 10 million times harder to run and open a PT practice than if you do not know it. Like, how are you going to get customers? Oh, I have a business. Well, a business runs off customers. How are you going to get them? And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Is it too late to apply for PT school this cycle? It's March 24th. A general answer is yes, it's too late because most of the school's deadlines are done. And one more on YouTube before I go to TikTok. Is it possible for introverts to do well in physical therapy? I like one-on-one interaction, but speaking in front of groups intimidates me. You don't have to speak in front of many groups. So yeah, you can do fine as an introvert. Just make the patient talk. Ask them questions, make them talk. And you'll be just fine. All right, TikTok, let's see. When did you realize you want to be a PT? When I saw what it basically had to offer. So when I saw the job opportunities, the career satisfaction, and that type of stuff that I saw it could give me, and the financial security, give or take, however people feel about that, then I was sold. Like, you can do almost anything in physical therapy without having to switch jobs, without having to switch residencies, fellowships, careers, go back to school, and anything like that. I can go apply for a pediatric job tomorrow if I wanted. Right? It's just great. Then the career satisfaction or job satisfaction you get when you get someone better in 30 minutes to an hour, it makes you feel like you're doing something in the world. You're making a difference, and it just makes you feel good. So once I figured that out, King Mike, I was sold. What do you do on the first day of shadowing as a freshman in undergrad? Smile, ask if you can help, ask what you can do to help everyone out. Hear the patient stories, just kind of gauge the room, gauge the vibe, gauge the feel of the clinic. Are they super professional? Are they more laid back and chill? And then act accordingly. Just be as engaged as you can. You don't have to be super into it. You don't have to try and impress anybody on the first day, but as long as you do your best to not stand there like a wallflower, you'll be just fine. Did you ever have to retake a class? I took Anatomy 1 and 2 over again when I was rejected. So yes. Are you happy with your job? I am actually. It's pretty chill though. Worst part about my job is just waking up in the morning. Like, oh, I got to wake up early. Other than that, my job is fine. It's great. But always people find something to complain about. So if I had a 3.41 undergrad GPA, 3.6 graduate GPA, which one will they review? They will see both GPAs. They will review both. Vanny needs advice. What can we help you with, Vanny? You can DM us as well if you need to. I am currently in PT school now. Do you know anyone who started private practice right out of school? Yes, we're not very close, but I've seen them on Facebook and stuff. But yes, people have started their private practice right out of school. One of our clients has started it right out of school as well. I think I only know 2 right off the top of my head who started it right out of school. And I think only 1 stuck with it, which is our client. That I know of course. No, 2. So I know 3 in total, and 2 have stuck with it. 2 have stuck with it. Thanks for sharing the live stream, Mom Boss. Thanks for the love, Rio. Appreciate you. How do you treat a patient that went through cancer surgery? Usually they're going to have a lymphedema problem, like a swelling problem. Usually, not all the time. And you would just treat the lymphedema. So you would treat their impairments. What's your favorite part about your job? What's the hardest thing about schooling? What was the hardest thing in your school? Favorite part of my job is just getting people better, talking with the people, having fun, laughing, and just seeing that transformation in real time. So somebody comes in like, oh, my back hurts. Then they leave and run, and they're like, oh, I'm 30% better, 70% better, 100% better. That's the best part. Just the transformation is the best part. Hardest thing in your schooling was cardiopulmonary class, from what I remember. Do PTs offer certain specialty careers such as knee? So you're asking, are there knee PT specialists and shoulder PT specialists? Technically, there can be. You can specialize in whatever you want, but you graduate PT school as a generalist. So you can specialize in whatever you want, especially if you have your own practice, but you usually graduate as a generalist. Instagram, y'all doing okay? Let's see. Don't physical therapists make and choose their own schedules? They can try to, just depends on the job. So that's like saying don't cashiers choose their own schedule? Where well, it depends. Does Costco allow that or does Walmart allow that? Where are they working? So it's not that simple, but they can try. Right now, I choose my own schedule because I'm a little different now. But you know, it's different. How much benefits does a PT? How much does it benefit for a PT? Okay, so you're asking how much does it help if you have a PT or a PT tech job? You're asking how much does it help if you have a PT tech job? It doesn't really help that much. It's just a commodity now. Everybody has it. Everybody has had it. It's nothing new. It's nothing special. It's a job. It's a job. So don't go after that job thinking it's going to change everything. If you want to be one, be one. But it's not. It's not going to guarantee you an acceptance because you're a PT tech. They're not going to be impressed because you're a PT tech. You got into University of St. Augustine, right? And University of the Pacific. I don't have any specific advice on either of those schools, but I know they're both accredited. I believe University of the Pacific is more expensive than St. Augustine, or they might be pretty close. But other than that, school is school. They're the same. All the schools to me right now are the same. So, yeah, either one you choose, just do the math on it, make sure it makes sense for you. But you'll do great at either one. Why do PT schools accept a handful of applications? Because they only have a certain number of seats. So the university as a whole or the school as a whole says this is how many seats we can afford, and this is the profit we'll make from these seats. It's a product they're selling you. It's a service they're selling you. So they're doing the math and running the math and saying, how many seats will it cost us versus how much profit can we make from those seats to make a profit for the school? So that's why some schools select 40 seats, 90 seats, 80 seats, or whatever. And that's why they only accept 40 versus 1,000. Because if you had 1,000 students, you need more faculty and cost more money and more facilities. And if all those 1,000 students don't pass the board exam, your school looks worse and it's not good for business. Thanks for the love, Rio. Appreciate the love. Does the first rib fracture require surgery? It might. Not all the time, but it might. Do I get paid well though? Yes, I do. I think I do. The thing is that everybody will complain about their pay, right? So do I want to get paid more? Absolutely, of course. Of course. I'll take more money. Duh. But do I think I get paid well? Of course I do. So yeah. Do I regret becoming a physical therapist? I don't. I have a great time every day at work, every day that I work in the clinic, every day that I do this. So no, I don't regret it. No, I don't regret it. How many hours of clinical hours generally should I be? Whatever they require. So the question is asking basically how many observation hours do you need to be competitive? Whatever they require. If the school requires 50 hours, then get the 50 hours. All right, YouTube, let's see. How do you go about working in professional, collegiate, high school performance teams and athletes? So basically, you just have to start now. So if you want to work with athletes or sports teams, you have to be a referee, you have to be an umpire, you have to be the water boy, the water girl, you have to be on the athletic training team staff in high school or college, right? You have to get your foot in the door now and start getting to know the coach and the athletic director and the assistant coach and the lineman coach and the volleyball coach and all the people and the other trainers and the other. Then you go to this camp during the summer that all the other water boys and trainers are going to, and it's just a big clique, it's a big community, right? Then you join the Facebook group and you follow all the people and referees on Instagram and TikTok, right? And you're in this community. Then you go to physical therapy school and you're in this sports community still, right? So then you get out of physical therapy school, and because you know all these people, you know that this physical therapist who you did this camp with or that you were a water boy for and they were a physical therapist on the D1 team in college is now working for the Denver Broncos. And you've had their number for 3 years, and now you text them or call them up and be like, hey, I just graduated, what should I do? And they're like, oh, go work at this clinic. In a couple years we might have a spot open up for the Denver Broncos, or I can connect you with the Atlanta Falcons, or I can connect you with Duke or University of North Carolina or Texas Tech, because they need a physical therapist. Because these jobs are not on ZipRecruiter. These jobs are not on Indeed. These jobs are not on Glassdoor. These jobs are not on LinkedIn. These jobs are on the phone, or however you guys use the phone signal now. So that's how you do it. Junior, I'm currently in PTA school. Won't try out DPT, but what other avenues can I grow my career in and make the best out of my license? Appreciate the platform. Appreciate you hopping on. So whatever way you want. Like, how do you now? The question to you, Junior, is how do you want to grow? Do you want to grow clinically, management wise, money wise, or anything else that I'm missing? Because you can do any of those three, if not all of those three. So one, choose how you want to grow, or which one you want to grow in first, and just take the next step to do it. Because having your PTA license really isn't stopping you from anything. It's not. You can do anything you want except evaluations. And that can even, depending on, to keep it, I'll just keep it at that. Legally, the only thing you can't do is a legal physical therapy evaluation. Can you evaluate someone in the gym or in your home? Sure. So if you read between the lines of what I'm saying, you can do whatever you need to do as a PTA. Don't let that stop you. But great question. How hard? Oh, thanks for the donut, Rio. How hard is it to get into physical therapy school? Per school, it's about 11 to 12% acceptance rate for all the applicants that apply. So if there's 600 applicants, 500 applicants, about 11 to 12% of those applicants get into that specific school. How do you feel about a fast track program? I think it's great. If you can handle it, handle it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Tips on studying kinesiology, active recall strategies. Active recall strategies, 100%. Does majoring in a pre-PT program versus a normal major help you get into PT school? Usually it will, because any programs that have a pre-PT major have a physical therapy school attached to it. So if you are a pre-PT major, usually that means you can most likely be in a freshman acceptance program. And if you do well or maintain the threshold, the GPA threshold in a freshman acceptance program, it's most likely you're just automatically accepted into that physical therapy school. So if you are a pre-PT major, with all that said, yes, it'll help you get into PT school. Best advice to skip a master's degree to become a sports trainer. If you want to skip a master's degree, A sports trainer. So I'm assuming you mean a sports trainer for like the Chicago Bulls, right? A pro sports team. If you want to do that, you usually have to have whatever credentials they need and want. And usually those pro sports teams are going to want some master's degree. They're going to want you to be a certified, licensed, graduated athletic trainer and or physical therapist and or something else. So if at that level is what you're talking about, you just have to do what you have to do. But if you're like, well, I just want to be an off-season sports trainer that has 1 million followers on Instagram and all the athletes come to me on the off season and I train athletes, then you just got to bust your butt and do some marketing and do some business work and get your name out there and start training people and show your results. How likely is someone to have torn a labrum if they have a Hill-Sachs lesion? Jesus. Pretty likely, because Hill-Sachs is the back of the shoulder. Y'all help me with this. It's been a while. Hill-Sachs. Let me test my YouTube. Can y'all help me with this? Hill-Sachs lesion is the back. It's like when it gets caught back here, right? Yeah, it's in the back. It's in the back of the shoulder, right? It's like a fracture kind of, but not really. Is it in the front or the back? Oh, you get hit in the back? I think it's pretty common if you have a Hill-Sachs lesion that the labrum could be torn because of just how the shoulder is moved. But man, you're taking me back to PT school. So yes, I would say there is a good likelihood that it could be torn, that a labrum could be torn. Is biology a good major if you want to do PT? Yeah, fine. It's fine. It gets the job done. You're in PT school. Can you talk more about your experience in just the bachelor's before the grad? My experience in the bachelor's before grad school. I can, Justin. If you're still on, Justin, let me know what you mean. Like, do you want to know what do you mean by my experience? I'd love to answer that though. My experience in bachelor's before the grad. Like what my major was? Let me know. If you're still on, Justin, let me know. I got you though. What makes you want to help us pre-PT students? So my story is that I was rejected from PT school. And the other part of the story from the co-founder is that all his friends were getting rejected. Were not even rejected from PT school. They were being told that they're not even good enough to apply. So they just started dropping like flies from being pre-PT majors, right? So with the combination of his friends and my story of getting rejected, we were like, well, we don't need this to happen to anybody else. So we started a program on our school campus. It was like a more sophisticated pre-physical therapy club. And then as time went on, we got into physical therapy school. We turned that into a more professional business to help people. So that's how it started. It started because I was rejected and many of our friends didn't even get to my place of even applying because they were told they were not good enough because of their poor grades or whatever else the advisor told them. So we were like, that's BS. Nobody else should go through this. So we made a solution to help people. And that's that. Our story is on our podcast. It's on our website. I talk about it here and there. So yeah. Do you like working at ATI? I like my ATI. I don't know about anybody else's ATI, but the one I'm at is chill. We have a good time. Y'all see the videos. It's cool. It's fine. It's chill. I'm PRN now, so it's even better. So it's great. I can complain about stuff, but anybody can complain about anything. But I think it's great. It's super chill. Instagram, y'all okay? Let's see. Are we all invited to the Pre-PT Money Live? If you get a ticket, yeah, of course. Go to newmoneyptlive.com if you want a ticket, Brittany. Or Britson. I'm guessing your name is Brittany. I never really asked, though. How impactful do you believe in the PT Club? Oh, okay. So, how impactful do you think it is being in a pre physical therapy club? Do you think I was missing anything by not being in it? No. The pre PT club is going to tell you a snippet of what we tell you, but you might get some like club um, kind of credit or a nice hoodie. You get to meet other people in your major. That's a good thing as well. You get a little bit of a community. They keep you up to date on like the dates and application stuff. So I say do it, but it's not mandatory, or it's not like you can't get in if you're not in the club. So it's just there to help you. It's another resource. But definitely use it. Is an A 100% required? It's not, but it definitely helps. I went to Andrews University for undergrad and grad school. If you get a couple of B's and a C, are you cooked? So it's the goal on applying quantity over quality. Snowman, I'd say it's debatable, but I say it's kind of the opposite. I would say quality over quantity in my experience of helping thousands of students. And no, you're not necessarily cooked. I just need to see the numbers. So you say you have a couple B's and a C, but does that mean you have the rest straight A's? Because you can have a couple B's and a C and have a 3.6, or you can have a couple B's and a C and have a 3.1, depending on your other grades. So it's more of a I need to see the GPAs type of thing to say how cooked you are or not. I got the ATI question. You're over a 600 on the Pete. That's cool. I'm not an NPTE expert, but over a 600 on the Pete is pretty good. Oh, what's the best thing about ATI? They don't really bother me. I'd say that's the best thing about ATI. From my experience, they support me in everything I do. They don't bother me. I've never gotten in trouble for anything. The upper management, at least to me, so far has been supportive. They give me hours to work. They pay me. So yeah, all of it. All of it. The patients in my population are chill, they're fun, they're exciting, they're funny. Um, yeah, it's cool. I can't speak for any other ATI. I just know my little ATI that I work at. So take that with a grain of salt, but yeah, it's fine. It's good. How to manage knee bursitis. I would say find out the root cause of that problem. What caused the bursitis? Because the bursitis is a symptom of something. Why did the bursitis happen? If you don't find that out, you're just managing the symptom of the bursitis. Can Canadian physical therapists work in the US? It is a master's degree. You would have to show your paperwork to the FSBPT in the United States and say, does this match what the US DPT students had to go through to get their license? If not, what else do I need to complete? Off the top of my head, I would have to do more research on that. If it does match or not. I don't think it matches totally. It might be pretty close, but I don't know what extra things you have to do right off the top of your head if you're a PT in Canada but want to work in the US. Most challenging class in PT school was cardiopulm. Cardiopulmonary was the most challenging. Occupational therapy school, 2 to 3 years. Yeah, I think so. That sounds about right. Can you still get into PT school while on court-ordered probation? I'm sure it's possible. I've never come across that situation, but I'm sure it's possible. Of course, they'd have a ton of questions about what's going on, but I'm sure it is possible. And if you get through all their questions and they still want to accept you, that's fine. Then you just have to make sure they like their main thing is going to be like, well, what happened and like, can we trust you? Right? Like, are you going to bring that stuff into our school? Whatever happened, right? They're just going to, that's why they're going to be apprehensive. And why is that a 5150? Oh, S1010. What's going on? Thanks for joining. But no, we got 13 people on YouTube. NYS1010, we got 13 people on YouTube. We had 17 before. But yeah, it's going crazy on YouTube today. We got 25 on TikTok. We got 3 on Instagram. So yeah, it's bumping tonight. Thanks for the compliment. I'll take it. Why not? Struggling with exercise physiology. Any tips? Active recall. Any active recall techniques? Any active recall techniques? Dupont with the alley-oop. What inspired us to start Cash and Clash University? So for those of you who don't know, Cash and Clash University talks about all the money parts that come with this PT profession. Because there's one part that we have to help you with, which is getting into physical therapy school, right? But in that, like you guys have seen, if you've been on here for the whole live stream, a lot of people have questions about, well, how to pay for it. Does it make sense? How to make money in school? Can I work in school? How to pay off the loans? How to get a good job after PT school? How to make extra income while I'm a PT? Does all this make sense? And blah, 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 all the money stuff, right? So we created Cash and Clash University to help you solve all those money problems and questions. That makes sense so far? So if you want to learn more about the money stuff, all the debt stuff, all the scholarship stuff, all the side hustle stuff, go to Cash and Clash University. And that's what it's for. Why we started it was because our pre-PT clients were like, hey, how do I make money? I want to make some money. I want a side hustle in, before, after PT school, like you guys have. We were like, oh, we can help you with that too. So we started teaching them. And over the years, it turned into Cash and Clash University. And on April 7th, we have a class talking all about what I just said. So all the money stuff. So go to moneyandclasstraining.com. Link is also in the bio to sign up for that class. And we'll have a good time. We'll have fun. Shout out to Dupont for the alley-oop with that question. Where are we at? Where's the chat? We'll get to that question in a second. Cool. Ooh, nope, sorry, wrong one. Cool. Is PT school 5 days a week? Yeah, it's 5 days a week. It's usually not 7. Minimum GPA to get into PT school, I say a 3.4. Technically, it's a 3.0. But to keep y'all safe, I'd say a 3.4. All right. Is most of being a PT involve using your hands? Or is it mostly exercise prescription? I like to use my hands for work. And how much physical stress involves being a PT? Did you have back problems? Okay. So you're asking how much is hands-on versus how much is exercise prescription. For me right now, depending on the patient, it's about 50-50. But that's going to depend on the PT you ask. You're going to ask some subset of PTs and they're going to say, all manual therapy. You're going to ask another set of PTs, all exercise. You're going to ask another set, oh, no, do this in education. It all matters. But for me right now, it's about 50-50. And during all of that, I'm constantly educating the patient. That's what I've been working on a lot, and it seemed to help me a lot too. You have back problems. You're usually going to be standing a lot. So that's probably the stuff that's going to hurt your back the most, depending on your back problem. How much can you expect to be paid right out of PT school? Probably between 75 and 80K. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, depending on location, setting, negotiation, bonus structure, PRN versus full-time, salary versus hourly. Depends on a lot of stuff, but yeah, that's what I'll say. Anatomy is kicking your butt as a freshman. Active recall as well. So if you have study problems, active recall, use any active recall strategies. It'll help you a ton. Undergrad school is making a DPT program for 2025. Would it be advantageous to apply to the first cohort or another well-established program? I would see how far along they are into their accreditation process. Sorry. If they're not a candidate for accreditation, I'd apply somewhere else. If they are a candidate for accreditation, I'd apply there. So it's for me, it would depend on their accreditation status. Do you think the PT profession is saturated? No, but I understand where it's coming from, where that question or what that statement is coming from. I understood if you heard it from someone and why they said it. But from what I see in the real world, it does not look saturated to me because PT jobs are looking to hire PTs. So no, in the real world, I don't see it saturated. But if you're like, oh, there's all these PT schools opening and they're gonna pump out these PTs, and in 10 years it's gonna be too many and blah blah blah. I get it. I understand the projection into the future, but right now I don't see it in the real world, and I've been hearing that since 2015, 16. Will taking a gap year disadvantage you? No, do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. PT school will be here. PT is not going anywhere. Take your gap year for whatever reason you need. I saw that you would recommend pre-PTs to study Spanish in undergrad. I see the appeal, but what about if you don't get in on your first or second try? Then you just have Spanish major and not much else. Okay. So let's just say you are an exercise science major, Zakir, or a kinesiology major, and you don't get in on your first and second try. You just have an exercise science and kinesiology major and not much else. Right? What can you do with your exercise or kinesiology major? I get that question all the time and I don't have an answer. I don't know. But what can you do with the Spanish major? If you know a second language, you have a new skill that you can get a job with. A translator, an interpreter. You can apply to entry-level jobs, you can get raises, you can get extra hourly pay if you know a second language. You can apply for an entry-level position in the government because you have another skill of another language. So you don't just have a Spanish major, you have a skill that can make you income, a skill that is needed. You know a different language. So that's why I recommend Spanish. It'll help you as a PT and even if you don't become a PT. What was the name of the cash or class? Cash in Class University. That's the handle on Instagram. So if you want to learn all the money stuff, from scholarships to debt to side hustles to all the stuff we've learned about money over the years, go to Cash in Class University on Instagram. And that's where you can start your journey with us with all the money stuff. And on April 7th, we'll be having a class talking about all the money stuff as well. And that will be on moneyinclasstraining.com. Link is in the bio as well. Would inpatient and outpatient aid experience look good for programs if your GPA is not the highest? Will it look good for programs? They don't really care. They don't really care. They do care about your GPA though. But the aid job, hospital or outpatient, is not gonna. It doesn't impress them because everybody is a PT tech or aid, so it doesn't impress them. You can still be one though. Don't let that stop you from getting a job and being one if you want. Is a 3.7 a good GPA to get into school? Yeah, it's fine. You should be fine with a 3.7. Just make sure all your other stuff is good too. Instagram, we still good? I think we're still good on Instagram. Any other questions? I'll take any last questions, then we'll hop off. Then we'll hop off and call it a night. We'll call it a night. All right. There we go. Any advice for the GRE? So focus on your weaknesses. Take some type of assessment and find what your weaknesses are as specifically as possible. So don't say, "Oh, it's just math." Math is a vast name for stuff. What part of the math sections or the math questions in the GRE test are you specifically struggling with? Then focus your attention on that, and that will give you the biggest point increase. Where do you recommend getting inpatient observation hours? Wherever is easiest and closest to you: hospital, nursing home, long term care facility, subacute rehab. You don't have to be too picky with it. Whatever's closest to you and whatever's easiest for you. Can you transfer PT schools if you start one but then get off the wait list for a different school? Oh, it really depends how deep you are into that program. If it's the first day, yeah. If it's the first week, yeah. If it's the first 2 months, uh, if it's the first day or first week, I don't think it will really be a transfer. It'd just be like a dropout, then start at the other school. But if it's anything longer than that, it just gets tough because, yeah, it's tough. I think I've only heard of one successful transfer, but transfers are not common in PT school. It's not that easy. It's not that simple. Was there any specialty you were interested in? And what's your specialty now? It's the same thing. So it was outpatient orthopedics, and it's outpatient orthopedics now. So it's pretty simple for me, pretty smooth. Do you know of any careers that I can get right out of school, right out of college with a degree in kinesiology? No, I don't know any specific careers because what you're asking is, I'm a kinesiology major. Can I be a kinesiologist for this company? I don't know any of those right off. Um, yeah, I don't know. And I've been asked this question a million times over the past 7-ish years. You can do anything and nothing with your kinesiology degree. It's just how it is. You can do everything because you just have a kinesiology degree. It's just a bachelor's degree. You can do anything, or you can do nothing because it's just a kinesiology degree. But no, there's no careers that come to mind like, oh, you can go work at IBM and be a kinesiologist, corporate kinesiologist. I haven't seen anything like that. If you guys do, let me know though. Exercise physiology as a career, same kind of thing. There might be, I have seen exercise physiologist jobs in hospitals before, but they're still not that common. More common than kinesiologists, but still not super common. And that's usually in like the cardiopulmonary department. What other careers are out there besides? Oh, thanks, Lawrence, for the follow. Appreciate you. What other careers besides PT are out there that you know of that you can do with a physiology degree? There's not really any big careers. There's jobs like you can be an athletic director, you can be a coach, you can be a referee, you can be a recreational department manager. You can be a personal trainer, of course, group trainer. So you can have different jobs like that. Do you call that a career? Maybe, maybe not. But there's things you can do. You just have to be creative. It's not as smooth and as simple as people think. What are some good jobs to start off after getting our exercise science degree? It's the same as what I've been saying. It's not there's really no specific jobs. It's whatever job you want to get. So I'll end it with this. I like to explain it with this analogy. There are airplane careers and there are train track careers. Then Instagram has some questions I got to get to. So train track careers are what you guys are asking for from kinesiology and exercise science. You're like, give me a job. What job can I get right after I graduate college with this degree? That's what's called a train track career. But that's what physical therapy, occupational therapy, um, physician, lawyer, stuff like that. Like it's a clear path. You follow this train track, and at the end, you get a job. However, kinesiology, exercise science, communications, human resources, business management, stuff like that are airplane careers. You take off from the runway and you graduate with your kinesiology degree. And now you're a plane flying in the sky. What way do you want to go? You are not bound by anything. You're not bound by any tracks. There's no tracks to follow. You can go left, you can go right, you can go up, you can go down. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to take your degree? And you can go anywhere or nowhere. So that's what I mean by train track career versus airplane career with those. What PT are you specialized in? I'm an outpatient orthopedic therapist, but I do see some neuro patients. I decided PT over other PT professions because of the career opportunities and the job satisfaction. You can do any specialty in PT with just one degree. And when you get people better in the span of 30 minutes to, I don't know, 2 weeks, you just feel better about yourself. You feel good. If a school doesn't require the GRE, should you still take it? None of the schools I'm looking at require it, but I wonder if it should be taken. Is it if it's recommended? If it's recommended, possibly. If they say recommended, I would drill the school on that question. Be like, you said recommended, but what do you really mean by that? That's what I would ask the school. But if they don't say anything, not required, if they say not required or they don't mention it, then no, you don't need to take it. But if they say recommended, I'd ask them. I'm in 9th grade. I want to be a physical therapy. I want to be a professional soccer player, but I like physical therapy. I love your content. Keep it up. Appreciate it. 8th Duck. That's what's up. If I can't go pro, I want to be a physical therapist. I like that. You got a plan, 8th Duck. Shout out to everybody in 9th grade. Appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on. Class training. There we go. Could an introvert be a successful PT? Yeah, you'll be fine. Don't overthink it. What does introvert mean anyways? Because I'm sure you talk a lot to the people you like to talk to. And you talk a lot when it's something you like to talk about. So talk about what you like to talk about with your patients. And talk more to the people you like to talk about. What are some good minors? Don't worry about minors. You don't need any minors. There are no good minors. Don't worry about any minors. You are good. Don't even stress about it. A lot of schools aren't requiring the GRE. And the PT said you have it easy. Yeah, you have it easy, but so what? So what? Just let them cry. Let them cry, but yeah, you have it easier if they don't require the GRE. I do not regret being a PT. I have fun. I like my job. I mean, you guys see the videos. I have a whole PT vlog playlist on TikTok. So just check out the videos. I like it. I don't regret it. The hardest part about the job for me is just getting up in the morning. Like when my alarm goes off, but that's everything, right? But I'm grateful for it. Very grateful. Because I remember when I got rejected from PT school, all I wanted was to do what I'm doing right now. How dare I don't be grateful? How's your documentation? My personal documentation is horrible. I am not a good documenter. I just don't care about it. But the software we use is fine. OT student, that's what's up. The documentation is not that hard. Don't let the PT scare you. It's just writing notes. It's just saying what you did. They're just complaining. In my opinion, they're just complaining. Oh, the documentation is hard. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, it's so stressful. Like, come on. Golly, they just complain about everything. Bro, they have a chill job in an air conditioning building or hospital, standing around telling patients what to do, and they have to write stuff on a laptop. Please. Such crybabies. They are such crybabies. I did not do a flex program. I did a traditional regular program. I like hybrid programs. If I was to do it over again, I'd do a hybrid program. Any tips or advice to afford PT school? 3 tips: go to a less expensive school, or choose a less expensive school, scholarships, and make money in school. So if you want to learn more about the money stuff, we're actually having a class about this on April 7th at moneyinclasstraining.com, all about the money stuff. And you can also follow Cash in Class University on Instagram. And that's where we talk about all the money stuff. University of Florida's DPT program. Did Alexa apply there? I think Alexa went there. I do know someone who went to Florida, University of Florida's program. I think I do. I'm pretty sure she still went there. You're welcome. You're welcome. Why would you do a hybrid program? Because you can do school from anywhere. You can be on the beach, you can be in the mountains, you can be in your room, you can be half asleep, you can be watching a movie on Netflix in PT school. Like, that would be amazing for me. Do you feel you are accurately compensated / paid in the PT field after receiving a doctorate degree? Yes and no. So I'll explain both parts. So yes, because I understand how the billing and business stuff works, right? I understand what they pay me and why they pay me what they do, because they have to make a profit off an employee like me, right? So they have to pay me enough to keep me, but not enough so they can still profit. If they paid me as much as they could, the business is in jeopardy of going bankrupt because all their money is going to the employees. But as employees, we're like, we're doing all the work. Well, we should get paid all the money because we're bringing in all the money, right? But technically, you're not really bringing in all the money. You technically cost them. You halfway cost them because they have to pay your healthcare, they have to pay your insurance, they have to pay the rent of the building you work in, they have to get the patients and market to them and get them in so you can treat them and you can get paid from them, right? They have to pay for your continuing education. They have to pay for the laptop you're working on. They have to pay for all this stuff and pay for their C-suite salaries and all this stuff. So that's why I say, yes, I'm compensated well enough. I would say, no, I'm not compensated well enough because, of course, I want to get paid more. Duh. But that's why I have my own businesses, so I can control how much I want to pay myself. But then I also have the stability of a PRN job as a physical therapist, so I can have that stability. So I'm just trying to get the best of both worlds. So yes and no to being paid enough. But that's because I understand both perspectives of being an employee and a business owner. Because let's just say you worked for me for pre-PT grind and you were like, I need to get paid more. And I'm like, well, Brittany, you're not on these live streams at 10 p.m. Eastern or 10 p.m. Central Time doing all the marketing to get new clients to get you paid more. So no, why should I pay you more? And that's how the physical therapy hospitals and corporations and clinics are viewing people when they say, oh, I just want to get paid more. Pay me more because I have all this debt and I have all these student loans and I have to live. Like, they get it. But why pay you more if you're not doing more? That's how they're thinking. Not saying it's right or wrong, but that's how they're thinking. I applied twice. So it took me 2 years. What do you do for continuing education? I did the 180 system and I used to take students. Clinical students. How do you balance being a PT at a facility and owning a business? I just work all the time. I work at work, then I work after work, then I work on the weekends. It's all work all the time. This is work right now. So how do you balance it? You don't balance it. I don't balance it. I just do work all the time. I integrate my work into my other parts of life. So you just work all the time. But then you get rewarded for it, right? That's all. Casey, what's up? Oh, Ashley, what's up? What's up? Cassandra, what's up? What's up? Good to see y'all here. What's up? What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Speaking of Cash and Clash University, Ashley and Cassandra are in that program. So see you guys who are interested in all the money stuff at moneyandclasstraining.com. Sign up there for the class on April 7th, Sunday. Are you not burnt out? No, I take care of myself. I take care of myself. I don't think I'm burnt out. I'm used to it also. So you have to keep in mind, Eliana, that I've been doing this for 7 years since working, and 5 years since I've graduated, working and doing pre-PT grind stuff at the same time. So like I'm used to it. It's like, I don't know, I'm just used to it. It's like working out. If you're used to running a mile in 8 minutes and people are like, aren't you tired? Well, not really. I'm used to it. So I'm just used to it. But I also have fun. I do the stuff I want to do, have a good time. So yeah, sometimes I get tired, like depending on what I have to do, but it's not like I'm burnt out. Wow, these questions are flying in. What's going on? Oh, that's why. Ashley, are you a moderator? I gotta make you a moderator. I think I made you a moderator. Yeah, you are a moderator, Ashley. Okay, cool. If you have a 3.4 GPA, is it still possible to get into PT school? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Running on Blades of Glory. Dark humor? Yeah, I like dark humor too. I'm a fan of dark humor. Do you have any scholarship recommendations? Right off the top of my head, I don't, but Taylor, if you go to our website, if you go to preptgrind.com, and if you scroll down to like connect with Pre-PT Grind, there's like a whole free section that I put together that has some scholarship, that has a scholarship class, a free scholarship class. So go to preptgrind.com. I'll just show you guys on YouTube real quick. Share screen. There we go. All right, so the people on YouTube and Instagram can see this, but I'm on preptgrind.com and I'm scrolling down, and where you see connect with Pre-PT Grind, scroll down, and on the side you will see discover how to get scholarships and make money in school. Click that link and you'll get taken to a page with a free, how long is this? 2-hour class. So check that out. What is the most important thing about becoming a good PT post-graduation? Most important thing. Now I would say finding the root cause of the problem. And I didn't figure that out until last summer when I did the 180 system. Because before that, you're just treating the symptoms. So if you're like, oh, somebody asked about bursitis earlier. Like, oh, I have bursitis. How do I fix it? Well, if I say, oh, do this for bursitis or do this exercise for bursitis, bursitis is the symptom. What caused the bursitis is what we as physical therapists need to figure out. And if you find what caused the bursitis, you can fix the cause of the bursitis and the bursitis will go away. So that's what I'd say. Good question, though. Start PT school in the summer. Any advice? Go make some money. Go sleep. Go make some money. Best way to study for the GRE. Find your weaknesses and focus on your weaknesses. Would a 3.0 be too low? For me, it's too low. Personally, it's too low, but we have gotten many people into school with a 3.0 or 3.1. So it's possible. It's just too close for me on the brink. If you came to me as one of our paid clients and you were like, I have a 3.0, a 3.1, can I get in? I'd say technically, but you're paying me a lot of money. We're not gonna do that. We're not doing that. We need to bring that GPA up as much as we can. Now, if you went from a 2.1 to a 3.1, that's a totally different story. There's a lot of nuances I need to give you the best answer with this, but that's my general answer. Would you consider being a sports physical therapist fun? I've never been one, but it looks fun. It definitely looks fun. Do you have to match into clinicals? No, you are assigned them, or you can pick them depending on the school. But there's no matching program like med school. Instagram, y'all doing okay? Let's see. What do you think about PTA schooling first? You don't need to do that first. If you want to be a physical therapist, Intunes, just be a physical therapist. Don't make a pit stop at PTA. If you want to be a PTA, be a PTA. But don't do that pit stop stuff with PTA first, then work, then PT. But I really wanted to be a PT. No. Just be a PT if that's what you want. Did you get burnt out during PT school? What does burnt out mean? Did I get tired? Yes. Did I get frustrated? Yes. Did I throw books at the wall? Yes. Does that mean burnt out? I don't know. But I had all these swings of emotions that I did. Oh, I lost it. I'm starting my PT program. What made you confident to stick with PT after not getting accepted? I had no other choice. What else was I going to do with my exercise science degree? Nothing. I did not see anything else I could do or wanted to do. So I had no other choice. What was I going to do? Cry about it? No, I was not going to cry about it. I didn't cry. I was really mad. But I couldn't stay mad forever. I had to fix something. So I had no other option. To me, anyways. Advice for the first semester this summer. Learn how you best learn before you start PT school. Learn how you best learn. Don't spend time, oh, I should study anatomy, but should I watch this YouTube video? But what about this book on anatomy? That don't make any difference unless you know how to learn the anatomy. So learn how you best learn. Hardest class in PT school for me was cardiopulmonary. Did you fail or have to retake classes in PT school? I heard getting kicked out of the program when you fail a class. I did not, but 4 or 5 people in our program did get dismissed. So yes, that is a real thing. That is a real thing. YouTube still got 12 people on. Y'all are holding on. Shout out to YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. That's what I'm talking about. TikTok's holding on too. 29 to 30 on TikTok still. That's what's up. I'm still in my last semester in bachelor's degree. It's hard to study before I start. You don't need to study before PT school. You don't need to study PT stuff before PT school. Just do your thing, finish your bachelor's. Don't worry about PT school. PT school will stress you out enough when you start PT school. How much is it to be a client of Pre-PT Grind? It depends what program you join. So we have programs as low as, well, we have products as low as $20, and we have products as expensive as $5,000. So it just depends on how big your problem is and what kind of help you want. If you want a private jet experience to get you into PT school in no time flat, because you're sick and tired of getting rejected and having a low GPA and people said you couldn't do it, and you're just tired of it and you're like, I am ready to be a PT, get me in, we have that solution for you. If you're like, oh, I just need a little help, then we have that solution for you. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. But if you want help deciding on what product or programs are best for you from us, go to acceptedstrategy.com. Acceptedstrategy.com, I believe, is the website. Let me check. Accepted Strategy. Or just go to acceptedsystem.com. We got so many domains. Lord help me. Just go to Accepted Strategy or acceptedsystem.com, or go to our website. Any one of those. Y'all know how to work the internet. You can find it. How would I go from nursing to physical therapy? Apply to physical therapy school. If you need more details on how to apply to physical therapy school, go to acceptanceguides.com or go to our website, preptgrind.com, or the link is in our bio to get our acceptance guides, because the acceptance guides give all the details on what you're looking for. What classes in high school will help? Don't worry about it. I know you're excited though, because in high school I would be excited, like, oh, cool, what cool physical therapy classes can I take in high school? If they have some sports class, some schools have it, some schools don't, then take it. But if not, don't worry about it. Cassandra cries all the time. Cry in PT school and in prereqs. More like 10K. Any tips on my journey? How many hours a day did you have school? What did your schedule look like? It was like a job. 9 to 5, 8 to 5, 10 to 3, depending on the day. Depends on the day, but it was definitely like 40 plus hours a week. Would you recommend taking a gap year? If you need it, absolutely. A gap year won't hurt you as long as you're working on what you need to work on in the gap year. So don't be scared of a gap year. Definitely don't be scared of a gap year. Currently majoring in exercise science, looking forward to being a PTA. Okay, cool. Cool. If you're new to us, Andrew, get our acceptance guides. Link is in the bio. But if you're looking for like steps and advice and details and stuff, that's the best place for you to start. Acceptanceguides.com, link is in the bio, all that stuff. 3.3 GPA. Would you recommend to retake some science courses? Yes, absolutely. Any classes you have a B or lower in, I would retake them if you can. If you have the money and time, I would retake them. And people might scoff at that and say, no, a B, I had a B and I got accepted and blah, blah, blah. All right. I don't care. I don't care what you did. I really don't. Because I don't know what you did and what other context and what school you applied to. That doesn't matter. The best advice I can give you or give anybody is if you retake those classes, you will have a better chance at any school you want to get into. So I don't care what anybody tells you. Tell them come fight with me. So B or below. B, yeah, B plus you can probably keep. But a B or below, I would highly consider retaking it if you can. If you have the time and money to retake, you can. Or you guys know what I'm saying. Does it look bad on applications if they see that you've retaken many prereqs? No, here's what I'll say though. If you've taken, let's just take anatomy for example. If you've retaken anatomy 3 times and gotten Fs on all 3 attempts, that's a red flag. They're going to be like, well, if you got an Fs 3 times in anatomy in undergrad, how can you handle PT school anatomy? It's not looking good. It's not looking like you're going to handle PT school anatomy. So why should we accept you? But if you take anatomy and get an A, then you retake chemistry and get a B plus, then you retake chemistry and get an A, that's all fine. That's all good. That's all good. What factors did you consider when deciding choosing DPT? Career satisfaction, job opportunity, and of course salary. That's what I factored in. Any tips on clinicals? Oh Lord. Any tips on clinicals? Be nice, have a good attitude, smile, be open to constructive feedback. That's what I'd say. What GPA did you graduate undergrad with? First time I applied, I had a 3.4. Second time, I had a 3.7. What do you think are the best jobs that are similar to PT? Occupational therapy, speech therapy, athletic trainer, personal trainer, recreational therapist. Yeah, those five. What if I got a? Oh, I missed it. If I have a DPT US license, could you work abroad? You probably could work abroad. Triple check that. Don't take my word for it, but I think you could work abroad. Do you recommend exercise science, anatomy, and physiology? Oh Lord. I'd rec. I, I don't know, Hannah. That's tough because I don't know. So the question is, do I recommend exercise science anatomy and phys or bioanatomy and phys? Whichever one is the general one. It sounds like the bioanatomy and phys is going to be the general one. So if the bioanatomy and physiology is like 4 credits, but the exercise science anatomy is 2 credits, do not take the 2 credit one. Whichever one is like 4 or 5 credits, that's the general one. You want to take that one. What P what is PT school like? It is like what's the analogy? Drinking out of a fire hose. It's just so much information in a short amount of time, and the information is very hard. It's very difficult. Any tips on clinicals? Be nice, be open to constructive feedback, and make everybody's life easier. How important are chem and bio? Very important, extremely important, because those are two of the major prerequisites. It's like 50% of your science GPA, because the science classes are anatomy, bio, chem, and physics. So those are 2 out of the 4. Um, Instagram is a C passing in PT school. Mm, depends on the school. I believe so. Depends on what percent that C is. Do they average your grade or take the highest one? It depends on the school. Some schools take the highest one. Some schools average it. I think most schools take the highest one now. C in chemistry, but my GPA is above a 3.6. I would retake it, but Ileana, I'm already a physical therapist. It's your life, it's your career, it's your money, it's your time. So 3.6 is good. It just depends on your risk tolerance. That's all. If you are my client in the accepted system or the fast track program that we have, I would highly encourage you to retake that C, unless we figure out something else that's going on, or I feel comfortable with you not retaking it. But I highly recommend retaking it. Are we good? Are those all the questions? I think we're good. I'm gonna get off soon though. What do you think are the best jobs similar to PT? Speech, OT, athletic training, personal training. Yeah. How did I choose between the different schools? Location, cost, and familiarity. Those were the three for me. Location, cost, and familiarity. Oh, there's still a lot of questions? Oh my. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Hardest class in PT school, cardio palm. 100%. Can you get paid during clinicals? If you're doing a clinical in a private practice, you're more likely to get some stipend or get paid or get broken off a little something, something. If not, it's less likely. Did you have a plan B if PT didn't work out? I did not. I would have figured one out, but I did not have a plan B. My plan B was to apply again. The lowest physical therapy school I've seen is Georgia Southern at $35,000 for in-state tuition in total, not a year. So 35,000 in total. So that would be 11,000 and some change a year, 12,000 some change a year. What are some challenges in the field of PT? Challenges in the field are usually just going to come down to money. Everything's coming down to money. YouTube, we good. Instagram, we good. Okay. Challenges in the field would be identity. I would say identity. Like, what is there a collective definition of what physical therapists actually do? Or are we all saying we all do different things? And the other thing is reimbursement. But I don't really like that. It feels like a sorry excuse now because it's like we're just passing the blame. But it's a valid thing. That would be the other problem I'd see. I didn't do a good job at answering that. What was my train of thought? Sorry, I've been on here an hour and a half. I'm losing it. But yeah, those are the biggest problems I've seen in PT over the years is our identity and then declining reimbursements from insurance. Those are the big problems. Was there a second part to that question? If there is a second part, just ask it again. I'll be more than happy to answer. Oh, shoot. I lost that question. Sorry, Cassandra. Dang it. Sorry to that person. Ask it again. Ask it again for me. Are PT school interviews usually in person? Yeah. Oh, no, I got this one, Cassandra. Were there some challenges? Yeah, I got that one. What I wish I could improve? Yeah, the PT identity and PT reimbursements. Same for that. And PTE study tips. Find your weakest. Take a practice exam. Take a practice exam, find your weakest points, and use a prep program, like a prep course. I use the PT Hustle. If I get C's in anatomy, but the following year I get A's in physics and chem, are my chances good? I mean, you can still get in. It's just as a risk, right? And we need to do a risk assessment. So what's your GPA like with that C and those other A's, right? If you have a 3.8 with a C in anatomy, okay, I feel comfortable saying, yeah, okay, just apply. But still, that C in anatomy is huge. It's just going to make the school apprehensive. Why would the school want to accept you if you have a C in anatomy? I'm just thinking like the school. Could they accept you? Of course, absolutely. But you just got to think like a PT school. Why would they want to accept you with a C in anatomy when everybody else has an A in anatomy and B's and A's in the other classes too? There's still 30 people on TikTok. That's crazy. It's 12 people on YouTube. Y'all getting value from this? Yes or yes? That's crazy. Maybe it's just because it's a Sunday night. That's what's up, though. How old were you when you decided to become a PT? 20, 19, 18? Somewhere between 18 and 20. Yeah, somewhere between 18 and 20. I'm 30 now. So I was a sophomore. How old are sophomores? 20, 19? Somewhere between freshman and sophomore years when I switched to PT. 20, 19 or 20? Okay. Yeah, I was somewhere around there. Do you know if prerequisites expire after a certain amount of years? Yeah, depending on the school, it can range from 5 to 10. So on the short end is 5 years. Some schools are 7 years. Some schools are 10 years with the expiration date, because how they're thinking is like, well, you took anatomy 10 years ago. Okay, you got a B plus in anatomy 10 years ago. Did you forget all of it? You still got it. Sometimes there's petitions. Like, let's just say you took anatomy 10 years ago, but you teach anatomy in high school. Then they're going to be like, oh, you're good. You don't need to retake it. When did you start doing internship shadowing? I did that the summer before my junior year, I believe. Summer before my junior year, I think I did my shadowing. Why did I not get accepted the first time? Because the school was not accepting anyone for interviews who did not have a 3.5 or higher. So I didn't get accepted because I had a 3.4, and they were doing interviews for people with a 3.5 or higher. That's why I didn't get accepted. That's why I'm so hard on GPAs. People ask me GPA questions. It's not only because I've been coaching students for 7 years, but because I went through this. Free NPTE practice exams. If you go to the library and get an NPTE prep book, if they are there, you might be able to find a Sullivan or maybe Score Builders in the library. That's what I suggest. Then the Pete has free ones. Is $110K a good salary for an outpatient PT in the Midwest? Yeah, I'd say so. That's usually going to be, sounds like a home health salary. Oh, yeah, you can follow PTA Elevation if you're a PTA and you need help with passing the PTA board exam. Follow PTA Elevation. She was talking about doing PT exam prep too, so we'll see. See what she chooses. Instagram, y'all still good? What did you do and who did you go to for help when applying to PT school, especially the second time? So I didn't really go to anybody, but I took the advice from the advisor who basically said I was rejected. She said, retake anatomy 1 and 2, and now your GPA will go from a 3.4 to a 3.7 if you get A's in it. So I retook anatomy 1 and 2, got A's in it, and lo and behold, my GPA went from a 3.4 to a 3.7. Then I rewrote my essays. I got better letters of recommendations. We started Pre-PT Grind, which was the Pre-PT Success program during that summer. And I just did the most, and I applied early. I did everything that I could. And now I'm on a live stream with you. 9 or 10 years later. That brings me to a live stream with you, answering your questions. Crazy how life works. If I show upward growth in my prerequisite classes, are my chances all right? Yes, they are better than if you did not show the upward growth. Yes, your chances are better. Yes, definitely show the upward growth. Do you think it would be difficult to play a sport while in PT school? Yeah, it'd be difficult. It would be difficult. I'm not going to lie. It will be difficult. But you got to communicate with the team and the PT school a lot on what's going on. GRE is still an important factor. If the school requires it, absolutely. It's important. 100%, absolutely. How do you make your essay stand out? So the advice you might not be happy with, but the advice is to answer the question that they're asking. That's the first step. And that's where I'll keep it for now. But it's more powerful than you think. Because if you step into the minds of a DPT program person reading hundreds of essays a day, they're tired, they're burnt out, their kids are running around, they got pressure from the school, they got a class to teach tomorrow, they got tests to grade, and they're reading your essay in the middle of life. And you're here rambling about some fairy tale that you went through in your pre-PT story. And they're like, what the heck is Aina talking about? She's just rambling on and on. Where is the answer to my question? And that's what they're looking for. Where's the answer? Where's the answer? Okay, cool. Okay, where's the answer? Where's the answer? Cool. Hey, sit down. Sit down. Did you eat? Did you eat? No, sit down and eat. Okay, where's the question? Where's the answer? Where's the answer? Okay, cool. She was very clear. She was on point. She answered the question to the prompt. I like her essay. I'll put her in this pile that I'll read more in depth next week. That's how they think. That's what I recommend you do. What practice exams did you use? The Pete, the O'Sullivan, and the Score Builders, I believe. Did you retake classes at a community college? I did. I retook all my classes at a community college. Any DPT program recommendations? Whatever the least expensive school is in your area that you like is my recommendation. The least expensive one. Have a C in chemistry. What would make them rethink? You have a C in chemistry. What would make them rethink? If the rest of your GPA is high and you have as many A's as possible. So if you have straight A's, but you have a C in chemistry, they'll waive it. They'll be okay. They'll be like, she's all right. So you have to have a very high GPA and or very high grades and everything else. Part-time personal trainer, a good job in PT school? Yeah, any job that gives you flexibility. So if you have a job that's flexible and can work around your PT school schedule, of course, that's a good job. If it gets you paid and it can be flexible, it's a good job to me. Oh shoot. Dang it. Low battery. Low battery. Do you think the NPTE review book is sufficient for studying? Yeah, but this is a big test. Bookworm, I'd say use all the resources you can. Pay for a prep course, pay for a book, pay for all the help you can get. Can you slip by and skim by doing the bare minimum with this test? You can, it's possible. But if you fail, if you take that risk and you fail, you are not gonna like yourself because you're wasting 4 months of a PT salary if you fail. And if you fail, you only have 5 retakes left. And the pressure's on. So I say do it right the first time, pay the money, get it over with, and get all the help you need. How do you feel about salary transparency? I feel good about it. I mean, people ask me my hourly and salary pay all the time on here, so I don't have any problem with it. I don't tell people how much money I have or how much I make from all my stuff or what's in all my accounts. Nobody needs to know all that, but I understand why you guys ask what I make as a PT because I say become a PT. And you're like, well, how much do you make? So it just makes sense for me to say it. Can recommendation letters from PTs override prereqs? In rare cases, it could, but that's when classes are like on the brink. So let's just say you have a 3.2 GPA and the school really wants a 3.3, but your letters of recommendation are great and they're from people who the admissions committee know, yes, that can bump you over. But if you have straight Fs and you have good letters of recommendation, they ain't taking that risk. They ain't taking that risk. Is it wise to apply to 7 to 10 DPT schools with high acceptance rates? To become a PT and disregard the money? Depends what's important to you. Is money no object to you? And you have help to pay it and you have a plan to pay it off? Then sure, apply to PT schools that have a higher acceptance rate for you and pay the money. But if cost is more important to you, then be more selective and be more strategic. Did you have to wait a whole nother year to apply to PT school? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I had to wait a whole another year. So I calculated this and I basically missed out on $86,000 and some change because I got rejected. Those are my calculations. That's why I was so pissed. That's why I was so angry. Yeah, I was mad I didn't get accepted. But I was mad about the time and the money I wasted. Thoughts on OT? OT is fine. OT is great. I'm not an OT. I don't know everything there is to know about it, but I think it's good. I think it's fine. I just became a PTA, got my first job in peds. Good stuff. Hardest thing about becoming a PT is PT school. 100% PT school. 100%. All right, I'm out, y'all. MoneyInclasstraining.com, April 7th. Go sign up. See ya.